If your holiday plans also include a roaring fire, maybe a warm drink, why not complete the picture with a great book? In just a moment, we'll be joined by some notable area authors here to share their literary picks of 2013. But first, we pay a visit to a local neighborhood bookseller for a look at the titles flying off the shelves.
Welcome to Newtonville Books. It's the holiday season. It's our favorite time of the year because we get to recommend books to everyone who comes in. And so here are some of our favorites this season. This one is great for sports fans and Patriots fans. It's called Collision Low Crossers, A Year Inside the Turbulent World of NFL Football by Nicholas Davidoff. It's a year inside the Jets organization, but I think Patriots fans are really going to like this. You get to see the disorganization going on, all the craziness. It's funny, it's smart, and it's really good for any sports fan. Our best-selling fiction title so far has been The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. And this is the big, wonderful book by her. She's the author of The Secret History, and it's been 10 years since she's had another book. So people have been waiting for this, and they haven't been disappointed. And so people who like a good, long story to just dive into are going to love it. Another big fat book on our list is called The Woman Who Lost Her Soul by Bob Shikoshias. Perfect for John le Carré fans. It takes you all over the world, from the Cold War to present day, and it's a really fun, smart thriller. And here's some of the kids' books that I want to talk about today. We've got a lot of great books, and remember, books take up less space than toys, so give books this year. This one is called Alpha Block, and it's just a gorgeous ABC book that pops up. The pages are very sturdy, and so they'll withstand a lot of handling by your toddler. It's very beautiful, very funny. You'll enjoy reading this too. And then my last one is, it's called Maps. It's by Alexandra and Daniel Mizelinsky, and it's this beautiful illustrated atlas. It just has gorgeous pictures, all the different countries in the world with different features, different products in the country, and it's gorgeously done. It's wonderfully reproduced, very educational, but also a lot of fun. Consider this one. It's a really good coffee table book for adults of all ages. And I hope you'll enjoy these. I hope you have a very book-filled holiday season, and happy holidays.
That was real snow. My next guests have compiled their own lists of standout titles across several literary categories. Andre Dubus III is the author of Dirty Love. Marianne Leone is the author of Jessie, A Mother's Story. And Ethan Gilsdorf is a book critic and the author of the travel memoir Fantasy Freaks and Gaming Geeks. Welcome to all of you. So we'll start with fiction. Andre, you have brought, these are stories that sound always so interesting to me. It's a New England town and sort of these listless couples. What have you brought?
A listless couple by a master writer named Steve Yarborough. It's The Realm of Last Chances, published by Knopf. It is, he's just a master fiction writer, and it's my cup of tea, and I know it's a cup of tea of millions out there because it's character driven. These are recognizable men and women in their 50s, struggling to find new life in their marriage, and it's just, you can't put it down. It's just a poem of a novel, and I highly recommend it. Yeah,
I saw a lot of people say they read it in either one or two reads. It's that good.
Yeah, he's a wonderful writer.
Now, Marianne, you have an Italian book. You're getting international on us.
I am Elena Ferrante.
And it sounds like, could you say that again?
Elena Ferrante, who is mysterious because she refuses to be photographed. She will not do interviews. She will not accept awards. And there is some, I heard from my Italian writer friend Davide Ferrario, some say she is a man, trying to take credit, but it's a woman. It's a woman, because My Brilliant Friend is about a friendship between women. It's beautifully translated by Anne Goldstein. I would like to try and read this in the Italian, but it really, really, I know so many women who've read this, and I wish some men would try and read it too, because it's illuminating about friendship between women. And it takes place in Naples in a really interesting time, which is just after World War II, in the late 50s, when it's an ebullient town, it's a working class background, and it's the one girl who is going on to become a scholar, and her friend who is the brilliant one who is not. And it's just wonderful.
Yeah, and it sounds as mysterious as she is, because I've read that she always deals with some sort of absence and disappearance.
That's right, and this is the first of, yes, it begins that way, and it's the first of a trilogy. So I have her second one, The Story of a Name. I haven't been able to read it yet, but I can't wait to read it.
This will give people a good start.
Hooked on Elena.
Now, Ethan, you've brought a book by Jess Walter, who many people know from Beautiful Ruins, which I read last summer, as I think most people did. Speaking of Italy, that it takes place there. So what is this new book by her?
So this, We Live in Water. It's a little confusing because his last name is Walter, and the title is We Live in Water, not Walter. And it is a collection of short stories. And these are, I mean, it might be a guy's book, I don't know, but to me, the protagonists of these stories were sort of heartbreaking, downtrodden guys, mostly, who kind of are in various pickles in their lives. And, you know, it's a little bit grim, but it's incredibly beautifully written. There's some humor in there, some dark humor. And to me, you know, there was just some absolutely fantastic writing here. It was really I reviewed this book for the Boston Globe, and I really felt like it was one of my favorites of the year.
Well, now moving on to nonfiction, Andre, you have a memoir which just sounds so intriguing. Son of a Gun.
Yeah, it's disturbing, and it, like all art, it pierces the soul. It's Son of a Gun by Justin St. Germain. It's his first book. It's really, you know, if you look at the word memoir, you know, we know it comes from the word remember, which means to put back together again. And what Justin St. Germain is doing is putting back together how it is that his mother ended up being shot to death by her fifth husband. It is surprisingly, the book is full of love. You know, I know that a lot of people stay away from dark subjects, but I would ask them not to stay away from this book. Even this time of year, you know, the dark of winter, it'll take you to the other side. It's really about love more than anything else. And I just, 4 stars for me, Son of a Gun.
Now, Marianne, you have Edna O'Brien, and this just sounds delicious.
This is
and
a girl
fun.
after my own heart. Her first novel was burned by the parish priest on the steps of the church. Her next 6 were banned in Ireland. When she expatriated to England, continued to write absolutely luscious prose novels, but she also managed to drop acid with R.D. Laing, have an affair with Robert Mitchum. As I said, a girl after my own heart. As they said in the New Yorker review, you'll come for the gossip and you'll stay for the beautiful prose.
And she writes personally as well as she does in her.
Yes, she's 82 now. A life well lived.
Now, Ethan, speaking of dropping acid, you have not that you've done it, but you're talking
Not saying.
Your nonfiction book talks about BCN. You can only imagine what happened there.
Yeah, this is a fantastic, written by a local writer, a former DJ and program director over at WBCN, the legendary Boston rock and roll station. And Radio Free Boston, the rise and fall of WBCN, is sort of the first definitive history of this station, which has been off the air since, it's be closing in on its 5th year since being off the air. And for anyone who's grown up in the area, I know Andre grew up around here. I think you might have grown up around here too, Marianne. You know, we remember listening. WBCN was sort of the soundtrack to our life and our adolescence and our other stages of our development.
And we still miss it.
And we miss it terribly. And this is a wonderful sort of, beginning to end history of that radio station.
Remember the astrology guy?
Daryl Martini.
Daryl Martini.
Yeah, sure.
Don't rule the stars. Don't let the stars rule over you.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
You have a
very good.
BCN every day, baby. 70s.
So now moving on to children's books. Andre, you have On Linden Square.
I have
for
a
this time of year,
delightful
right?
book. It's called On Linden Square by Kate Sullivan. She's a local author from my little town of Newburyport. It's her first book, and it's just really delightful. It's about a young girl who can see the goings-on of her whole town, just rear window-like. She thinks she understands all of her neighbors. She thinks she's got a beat on them all until a huge storm comes, and they all end up in the square. And she realizes, and they all do too, they don't know each other at all. And it's a really lovely, affirmative piece of work.
Yeah. And, well, as evidence here, we love our local authors, too. And, Marianne, you have a story about hamsters. I love the...
I have Einstein the Class Hamster by Janet Taschen, illustrated by her son, who is her partner, Jake Taschen, and hilariously illustrated. And he is just a wise guy, Einstein. He thinks he knows more than the teacher. He comes from a long line of hamsters who've been absorbing all this information. And the book is studded with little factoids, including Einstein's tasty tidbits, one of which is the capital of Texas, Austin, rhymes with the capital of Massachusetts, Boston, and it has a lobster with a 10-gallon hat on saying, "I'm fixing to make some chowder." It's very clever.
That's great. And Ethan, you've brought a book we've never heard of.
We've never heard of this book before, by some unknown art writer by the name of J.R.R. Tolkien. There's no local connection here, except that Houghton Mifflin, the publisher, is based here in Boston.
And no connection to the movie, from what I understand.
No, apparently, yeah, right, exactly. For those of you who were a little unhappy with Peter Jackson's adaptation, this is a reminder to go back to the source material, and this is a brand new illustrated edition with some lovely illustrations by a young illustrator in the UK named Jemima Caitlin. And it's just a lovely way to kind of introduce your family, your young ones, to this wonderful tale before they get ruined by the movie.
Thank you for that. No, we have to be super quick about the gift book, starting with Andre knitting yarns, which sounds just lovely.
Okay,
and you're in.
This is shameless because I have an essay in this, and so does Marianne Leone, but so does Jane Smiley and Ann Patchett and Barbara Kingsolver. It's a beautiful collection of essays from writers who knit or have knitted. It's full of grief and love and hope and beauty and truth, baby. Get it.
And everybody knows knitting. Who doesn't?
Yeah, we all knit, don't we?
Yeah. Mine is about knitting epic fail, but that's okay.
Yeah. And you continue the local trend here.
Yes, this is Our Boston, and it's a collection of short stories, and Houghton Mifflin is donating $5 out of every book to the One Fund, and it's these wonderful Boston authors. Kevin Cullen opens it. He's spectacular. Dennis Lehane. It's moving and wonderful book. I recommend it.
And Ethan, a book I should probably read. You can tell us in 15 seconds.
Sure. So this is one in a series of books. This is called 101 Things I Learned in Engineering School by a local writer named Matthew Frederick, and he's done a series of these books on different topics, from film to culinary school, law school. So if you have sort of a geek in your family who's really into, in this case, engineering, this is the book that sort of summarizes their entire career in, $16.
And they make it accessible.
And makes it accessible with lovely drawings and short little nuggety factoids about the field.
All right. Cool. Ethan Gilsdorf, Marianne Leone, Andre Dubusse, thank you so much for your well-curated picks. We appreciate it.